Well, hey, g'day there. It's Wrench Gear here again. And today we're in the back of the shop. We're in the back of the compressor room here. And it's a compressor room here. And it's also a storage room of sorts. We got, oil filters and oil and, we got some tools and stuff back here and chainsaws up in the back up there and oil and things and stuff. Anyway, today, we're getting into the beginning here of a multi-day project. This here is called the Frankenstein compressor, if you will. Anyway, this is my old compressor here. Down here, I bought this thing brand new in. Let me get the old tag off the old tank. 1987. Is when that thing was built, 1987. I bought it brand new back then. And a couple of years ago, 2 years ago or so, the tank, this was a vertical compressor. The tank that it was sitting on was green tank, painted the same as that. This is a speed air compressor, speed air pump. It's all cast iron and what have you. It was a vertical tank, and it was a 30-gallon tank, and that tank got a pinhole rusted through in it a couple of years ago. And I started looking around at that time for a new compressor or a different one, and I couldn't come up with anything. But I had a bunch of these here old 30-pound propane tanks laying around, so I thought, you know what, I needed to get this thing going because we needed air, and I was getting into tire season and all that. And I went, man, I just got to throw this thing together. So we put it together. And it's been running for a couple of years now. It's the fall of 2024 now, so it's been like this for about 2 years. And I don't like it like this, but I needed it, and it's one of those temporary permanent jobs there. So it stayed like this for a bit, but now it's getting swapped around. We're going to replace this here with all a different compressor that I just bought. I don't like using the propane tanks for air tanks, although they're plenty strong and they'll never ever burst. But anyway, I don't like doing it. We're not going to have it like this anymore. So, you know how this thing works. In case you're interested, here we have main power coming in. It's all in behind the crappy old paneling. This room actually it's all insulated. I got insulation in behind all this paneling here. And when I close the door behind me, when you're in the shop, you can't even hear this thing running in here. It's all soundproofed like that, and that's how I wanted it like that. So, but anyway, so there's wiring in the wall here that's doing this here. It's got the funky plug on it, so it's probably not the right one for 230. That's probably, I don't know, just different amperage of 115. But anyway, nobody can plug anything normal into there. Anyway, so yeah. So this is powering, going into the switch right here, pressure switch. There's a wire coming off of here. This is a little bit complicated. There's a wire coming off of here that goes to a cooling fan here that just blows air across the top of the compressor head. And it doesn't actually blow on the compressor head. It's mounted a couple of inches above it, and it just kind of moves the air across the top. I don't want to make this side here, I'm making a shadow here. I don't want to make this side of it really cold from the fan, and then this side being really hot because things could warp or do whatever they're going to do. So anyway, I just have it blowing across and moving air. This wire here, this is control wiring, and then, yeah, I know it's not up to code. Anyway, it's how it is. It's been like this for many, 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 many years. This is control wiring to when the compressor goes on and off when the pressure goes up and down and it trips the pressure switch inside here. It opens and closes this wire. It goes up to the front of the shop to a contactor up the front. Heavy duty contactor, snaps on and off, turns the compressor on and off. So it's all a little complicated how I have this thing, and honestly, it took a couple of years to set this up. It all went in stages, all this wiring and all this nonsense. So, but most of this will be getting kept as is. It'll just be, these wires will get swapped onto the, under the pressure switch of the new compressor that I have. It's not brand new, it's a used one, but it's like new. So, anyway, this here big red one coming down here, it used to plug in. It's a little bit long right now, and I didn't cut it on purpose because, I knew that this wasn't going to be staying. But it used to come down and it used to just go into the side of the old vertical tank that was there. So anyway, and it's going to be doing that now into the new vertical tank that's going to be there. So anyway, it used to be a 30-gallon vertical tank, and I used to have it all set up on top of this here little arrangement to keep it off the floor, so I could reach under in there and I could drain the water out of the tank, which I did quite often. But it's still got a pinhole in it. It lasted 35 years, that tank. That thing made a lot of air, and I drained a lot of water out of it over the years. But yeah, that thing lasted 35 years, so I'm happy with that. But the new compressor that's going on here is a 60-gallon, and the thing's tall. I can't put it on there, I don't think, because the top of the thing's going to be way up here somewhere, and it's just way too high. So we're going to figure out what I'm going to do with all that. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to come off of the one side of this here, going to put another box on here, and it's going to be 115 volts. This is 220. That's going to be 115 or 230, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be 115, and I think I'm going to put a automatic air dryer on there, or one of those timed, not an air dryer, sorry, a blow off valve on the bottom of the tank there to drain the water out of it, water drain. And it's going to get it from there. And this receptacle is only powered by the contactor up front. When this wiring turns the contactor on up at the front, it makes this live, and it'll turn the air on, and then at that point it will also turn on that little water valve on the bottom there to empty the tank out. Anyway, I hope that all makes sense. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to take this whole thing all apart and get it all out of here. I guess actually one last thing I'm gonna show. I'll demonstrate this thing working for one last time before I take it all apart and see how this is. So here we are at the front of the shop here. This is the this compressor switch, obviously. And, yeah, don't worry about that. That's just an old plate I found and I stuck it on there for fun, whatever. Yeah, so this is a switch for the compressor, and it gets its power out of the breaker panel here, and it goes up to that contactors inside that box. And it goes up in the ceiling, heads through the attic area, and back to the compressor room. So this looks like this switch is in upside down. It's actually not. This is a three-way switch, like what you have in your house. At either end of your hallway or at the top of the stairs and bottom of the stairs or whatever, so you can turn your lights on and off from either end of your hall or your staircase, whatever. And one of them is always in the up position type of thing. So the three-way wiring is coming out of here, going down this tube, and it heads up to the front garage. So there's a tube. I put a trench in the ground there, and I put a big tube in the ground, and that wiring is inside that tube heading to the front. There's also an air line in that tube going up to the front there as well. It's like a 1/2-inch ID, so there's lots of air up at the front. So when you're working on up there, got to fill some tires or clean something off or whatever, there's lots of air up at the front there too. So switch just like this up at the front, and have an indicator light here to show when this is all turned on and ready to go. Because what happens is you'll be back here, and if that's not on, you look at that and you go, geez, is the compressor on or off? You kind of have no way. Well, you could walk back in the compressor room and see if that fan is blowing or not or whatever, but you know, you don't want to do that. So at a quick glance, if this light is on, then you know the switch is on. Similar situation up at the front. It's got a switch just like that at the front with an indicator light up the front too. This light also comes on when the front switch is on, and the light up at the front comes on with this switch as well. So you always know what's going on and off. So anyway, we're gonna turn this thing on, and you'll hear it come on in the background, and see how it goes. All right, so he's pumping there now, and we'll go back into the room and see how it is. All right, so just one last quick one here before we head into the back. That indicator light is also helpful because you never know if the compressor is turned on by the front switch, and you don't know if the thing's going or not. So every night before I head in at the end of the day, I turn this thing off, and you never know when it's on or off because the front one might have it on. I don't like leaving the compressor turned on or energized or whatever you want to call it all night long, because you know, you never know, 2 o'clock in the morning comes around or whatever, and maybe you got a rubber air hose plugged in the shop somewhere here, and the hose bursts. All of a sudden the compressor comes on, thing's running for hours trying to kill itself. So I never leave the thing turned on all night long, and it's good to go. So this thing here will let you know if you got the thing turned on or off, and it's good. All right, let's head to the back there, and we'll have a look at this thing running. All right, there he's going. So the fan's blowing along here, and it's just coming across the top. The compressor head's getting hot, but you don't really feel any wind on it from the fan. The fan's blowing across the top. Thing, camera's looking a little blurry today. I think I dropped my camera. I don't know if I wrecked the lens in this thing or whatever, so everything's a little bit blurry. It's at about 130 there now. It pops off around 135 or so. Well, we'll let her go until she blows off the pressure valve there. Been an excellent compressor for all these years. It's sad to see the thing get all taken apart, but I will put her up on the shelf in case you ever need it for something else someday. All right, there he goes, and he's at 135. Yeah, you know, I dropped my camera here the other day, and the thing's all blurry now. I'm gonna have to go get a new camera or something, I guess. So I apologize for the blurriness. Anyway, there he is. The fan continues to run to continue to bring heat off of that compressor, off of the pump. So that thing will run as long as that switch is on at the front of the shop or in the front garage. That fan is going, and it's bringing air across and circulating everything here. All right, so I'm going to show you what we're going to put in here now. All right, so here it is. This is the one I picked up here. A Sanborn one coming from Springfield, Minnesota. I think Trump was just talking about that recently, about the dogs and the cats in Springfield. I don't know. That's funny. Just realized that. Anyway, yeah, I picked this thing up. Actually, you know what? I picked him up a couple of months ago at the beginning of the summer, but it's end of the summer now, and we've been gone on holidays a lot and what have you. So time to get this thing in. So the thing's been holding pressure. I pumped it up at the guy's place when I bought it, and thing's been holding pressure the whole time. He had it wired up on one of these here, regular thing, and he said, oh yeah, I got 220 in the receptacle in his garage where that was plugged into. And I went, oh boy, I just hope that all that wiring that he had there was able to flow enough amps so that this thing wasn't struggling. Anyway, it started nice, it ran nice at the guy's place, so yeah, whatever. So we're just going to hope for the best on that. I'm going to swap that over to my other cord, so it'll be getting you know, a good amount of juice coming to it. This thing here, so like I said, it was 60 gallons. My other one was 30. 11 and a half CFM at 90. So that's pretty good because my old one was, I think it was like maybe around 6. So this thing here will be running good, providing lots of air. And yeah, 230 volts. So this here junk's all going to come off. And that's wrong for me anyway, but this is going to come off. And I'll put an elbow in there. That's going to be a 90 pointing straight up for that big red hose to go on there. That's where it was on my other one. And yeah, this thing's in pretty good shape. This thing is a 2018. Let's see if I can get in behind here and show you on this plate. This may not come out too good because my camera is being fuzzy and blurry, and I apologize for that. But right here, probably can't see it. That's unfortunate. 2018. You can kind of see that's an 8 there. Not a 3, but an 8. Anyway, 2018. So if I get 30-something years out of this one like I did the other one, let me put my glasses back on. 30-something years, I won't be doing any more work on it anyway, because I'm either going to, look out. I'm either going to be an old age home or I'll be in a cemetery, one of the two at that point. So anyway, this is the one that's going back in to replace that old one, and we're going to start working on all this stuff. All right, so I played around with my camera here a little bit, and I was able to get this thing to focus in a little bit better. So yeah, so there we go. He's a 2018, this guy, and we hope to get many years out of this thing here, many years of service. So all right, we're going to get going on this whole thing. Okay, so here's where we're at so far. I got this whole thing all removed, all the tanks out, and this is what it was standing up on. That's about a foot off the ground. So it was nice to reach in underneath there and be able to drain the water out. It was always been sitting on that, even with the old original tank on it. But here I kind of made these things here for those propane tanks to sit in, kind of held them down there and screwed against the wall with a little piece of all around. Same thing here, had this here like this. And going into here, and then the other one, of course, it was just sitting on the floor there. So that was a nice height for this air compressor. But I don't think I can put the new one on it, because the new one is, here, let me just get this tape measure going. The new one is 65 inches tall. So if I put that tape measure on that stand, okay, here, I'm getting it. All right, it's right there. 65 inches tall. Geez, I'm almost at that shelf up there. And I think that's just way too much. So I'm going to take this thing here all out, all this stuff. Take it all out, and I'm going to put it on the floor, the compressor. But I think I would like maybe a little bit of room underneath it there to be able to reach in there. So I wonder if I might take, I don't know, some 4x4s similar to that or whatever, and just cut a couple little pieces and stick one underneath each foot, or maybe a long one can go under 2 feet and a short one under the third one or whatever. But anyway, we're going to figure that all out. So here the tanks all taken out. And one concern I always had about these tanks was that they were going to fill full of water. I had no way of draining these things. Originally, I wanted to have them inverted, standing upside down to how they were, to the normal way, I guess. But and I was going to have a ball valve on the bottom of each one, and I was going to drain them all out. But the job became rushed. I didn't have enough fittings and nonsense to do it. All these fittings were all just junk that I had laying around in the shop here. So I was able to go and, or most of them were. I had to go and buy a couple of them, but not much. So anyway, these things have been sitting there for, I don't know, 2 years or whatever, filling full of water. So it's interesting that that this one here is the farthest one away from the compressor, and it seems like it has the most water in it This one here was closest to the compressor. This was the one that was standing down on the floor. This one here feels like it's got no water in it at all. And we're gonna see how much, if anything, if there is any in here. And there is nothing in there. Nothing in that one. He's dry. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure why that is. And we'll get rid of him. So this here is the one that was closest to the compressor. And shaking it around there, you can hear that it's got some in there. All right, so we're gonna flip this thing. And so it's got some, but not much, not much. Oh, it's got, well, it's coming. I think that's about it. So it's not actually all that much. Let me try and get this thing out of here with one hand. Okay. And the one here that was closest, or farthest away, we're going to see what he's got. This is the one where, you know, that went onto the big red hose that went up and fed the whole system with air. So we're going to see where we're at here with all this. Yeah, he's got some in there. Anyway, I'm going to drain these all out, and then we'll show you how much water came out of them here when I'm done. All right, so there's what we got out of it there, and I don't know what that is. Couple liters maybe. I don't know what that is. 2 liters, maybe 3 liters. I don't know. Half a gallon, maybe a little bit more. Anyway, I honestly thought there would have been more in there than that, but it's still a fair amount. But anyway, that doesn't do any tanks any good to have that sitting in the bottom of it there. So like I said, I'm going to get one of those automatic blow-off valves there to be draining the tank of the new one to get rid of all the water, and should take care of it so we don't have this problem. All right, so here we are so far here, out with the old, in with the new. So the new one's standing in place here. And I think this is going to be a nice height. It's not up so high there. He's down on the floor. Instead of being on a stand, we got some 4x4s under there so that we can reach down in there and install that water drain valve, or maybe you have to put a little bit of a container under there for that water drain valve to blow into or whatever. But anyway, got some room under there now anyway. And yeah, so we're going to start hooking this thing up now. Get all the wiring going on it. Okay, so this automatic tank drain just got delivered today. But there's always a snafu all the time when you buy these things off Amazon. They come from somewhere in Asia or who knows what. But anyway, this is all good. 110 volts, 50 hertz. North America is usually running on 60. But there's always some leeway. So this thing does work, even though it's labeled as 50. I've plugged it in and played around with it a little bit, and it does work good. So anyway, you're to screw this guy into there, and this is going to go up into the bottom of the tank. And it's inside here. It's got a screen of sorts, and I imagine you can maybe unscrew this end here to clean that screen out if it get debris in there clogging it or whatever. And that all seems fine and dandy, except this is not a 1/2-inch pipe thread. I don't know what it is, but it's not. This is. So I don't get it. Why? I don't know what they're doing. So this screws into here, and that's 1/2-inch pipe thread, but this is not. So, and then on the bottom of the tank, I don't know what's on the bottom of the tank. It's a 1/4 inch or 3/8 or some silly thing under there. So I got to rip that out and have a look at it and find myself a fitting or whatever to go in there. So anyway, we're going to figure that all out. So, this comes with, where's the end of it here? This comes with one of these here, and that's going to plug in right here. So the wiring for the compressor is done. I'm going to try and explain this if I can, to so people have figured out, or maybe be able to do something similar. So anyway, so this is 220 volts supplying the compressor motor all the way up. So first, actually, maybe first we're going to talk about this here. So, okay, let me just rest my arm here. So this is dead. This isn't being used. It's not hooked up. I'm going to put one of those little, one of them things in there to keep the kids from sticking their fingers in there. But just so nobody thinks they're going to come along and stick something in there and like a trouble light or something and do it or whatever, because that doesn't work. This is the control circuit for the contactor up at the front of the shop. So when you go to one of those three-way switches that have one in the shop and one in the front garage, when you turn the system on by one of those three-way switches, this gets powered, this one. And that's coming in here, that's coming right in here. And it's going to the pressure switch on the for the compressor, right? So this is the power coming in off of that. This is the power. When the tank gets low on pressure, the switch here snaps and we have power coming out of this white one. So I flagged it with a piece of black electrical tape so people know that there could be power in that one. So power then runs back down here, goes up here, boom. So now the white one is hot in here now. So I've labeled that one inside, the white one inside there too, with a piece of black electrical tape. And so then that heads up and it goes to the front to the contactor to snap the contactor on. When the contactor comes on, power then is sent down through here from the contactor and it's coming up into here. Again, I have the white one marked that it's going to be hot, and it's going to, when this pressure switch will be connected, it will be closed because of low pressure in the tank. So it's calling for the motor to turn on. So we got 110 going in here, 115, whatever you want to call it, coming out this white one, and this is factory wiring, and going out to the motor. The black one with the other 110 or 115 leg of it is marretted together right there and going out to the motor right here. So you're going to get, this is going to come on with the pressure switch, and while with, you know, pressure switch is going to be on, contactor is going to be on. So this white one being on this pressure switch is actually unnecessary. That could be marretted together with this one, with this white one going to the motor. Those two could be connected together because they go on and off with the contactor up front. But this is how I had it in the old one, and that was left over from two hots going in and two hots coming out the bottom, and I wound up putting the contactor control wiring just on the one side of it. So I just took the black one off, marretted it together, and did it. So it's a little unnecessary to have this as getting switched twice, but it doesn't matter one way or another, really. So so that's that. So this here now, also the control wiring also turns on this, both sides of this one, top and bottom. This is the fan right there, and again, it's higher than the compressor head, so it's blown across the top and not on it. And so this does the fan, and then this is the one that's going to do that tank drain that's down in the bottom. And I'm going to have to figure out some kind of whatever I'm going to do there. I might put a long nipple on it or something to bring it right out the side here a little bit more and put it into a bucket or so. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm undecided, because when that thing blows off, it's going to be blown off at 130 psi or something like that. So I don't want to splatting water all over the place if there's a big bunch of water into a bucket. So I don't want to blow that all out. But anyway, we're going to figure that all out. That's next project. I've got to put the big red rubber hose on here yet. I got to take all this nonsense off, and we're going to put the big red rubber hose on, and it's going to be just sitting like this, somehow like so, and it'll be all nice and neat. And yeah, so oh, I got these things here. I use these all the time. You know, when you're making this kind of stuff and it's all messed up and all jumbled, and you don't know, in a couple of years from now, you don't know what's going on, you get yourself some of these things here. And these are little stickers that you peel off, and you wrap them around your wires. So this here set of 3, you know, there's the top 6 threes are all one sticker. You peel them all off, you wrap it around an individual wire around here, and it's a number 3, or it's a number 6, or it's a number 8, or whatever you want to make it. Call it whatever you want. And then you make yourself a diagram like this. And this is a sloppy one that's going to be getting remade, because I actually didn't even do it like this. I made it a little different than this one. But you make yourself a diagram like that, and you start labeling your wires on there. Number 3, number 6 goes from here to there, whatever. And then in a number of years from now, when you open this thing up, you go, what the heck? What's number 6, man? You whip out your little diagram there, and you go, oh yeah, number 6 goes to the contactor, or it goes to whatever, it goes to the circuit breaker for the big power, whatever. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, you can get them like that. You can also get them on a roll like this here. Oh, another number 6 there. I'm looking out with number 6s today. Anyway, I got them both ways. So yeah, so we're gonna keep on working on this thing and getting it all wrapped up, and we're gonna get that gonna get the big rubber hose on there, the big red one, and we're gonna get that tank drain installed on the bottom there. Okay, so that white wire there, he's now labeled as number 6, and the black one there, he's labeled as number 8. And where that comes down inside that conduit there, inside here, they're also labeled as number 6 and number 8. At the other end, where they're getting into that conduit, they're labeled as number 6 and number 8. And also on the 3-way switch, and at the contactor as well. Everything is all labeled, so there's no guesswork at all in any of this stuff. You take it apart someday, you know exactly what's going on. All right, well, I think we pretty much got this thing done. We just had this thing running. I pumped it up there a bit to 110 or whatever, and the fan's going. And you're going to hear this water drain here cycle in about a second from now. It's loud. Here goes. Woo-wee. Not sure what I'm going to do with that thing just yet. But anyway, so he's plugged in here. This is the one going down. And we got the big guy on here now. Got to shut off here. It's closed right now because I only pumped the tank just up. I haven't pumped up the whole system. That thing's going to go again. It's loud. Where is it? It's coming. Eee. Anyway, here it goes. Look. Okay, I'm just right now I'm just experimenting with that thing. So I'll show you how I got this thing down underneath here. I'm gonna just lay on something here. Okay, so that's a 1/4-inch pipe thread in there. So what I've made up here was I used this is all galvanized stuff here. I wanted to do it in brass, but it was just going to be too expensive, whatever. So I had some of this laying around. Whoo-wee. I had some of this laying around, so I just went with galvanized so things aren't rusting. So there's a 1/4-inch closed nipple in there. This is a 1/4 to 1/2-inch bushing, and just your regular 1/2-inch 90. This is a 6-inch nipple. Got that got the thing on there, the valve. And I was just experimenting with this. So you got different adjustments. You can say how often you want it to go. and how long it will stay open for. So right now I'm just playing around with it. I've got it set at 30 seconds. I think I'm probably going to have it eventually set to 20 minutes. So every 20 minutes it'll burst off like that for 3 or 4 seconds just to clean it off, clean out the water. Here's going to go, and you'll see the you saw that on button, the on light turned green there for it. So I secured it a little bit here so this thing isn't vibrating all the time when the compressor is running, and you know, maybe put some stress on this thing here and maybe try and crack it or whatever. So I'm not sure if I'm leaving it like that because I don't know how much water this thing is going to make, and I don't want it making a big puddle in here or whatever. So if it's going to make too much of a mess in here, which I don't. Okay, that's just annoying now. I don't think the thing is going to make a big puddle, but if it does, I might put a hose on that and scoot it outside. This is an outside wall here. I might just pipe it right outside or whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna open this. Gonna turn this back on. So he's running. Open the rest of the system. Run till he shuts off. Woo-wee. All right, well, there we go. I don't think this gauge is accurate, by the way. I don't think it's going up to 140. Whatever. Anyway, I was going to change this gauge, but I'm not too worried about it. I don't use the gauge in the room here all that much. I have other gauges set around out in the shop and out in the front garage here, so I'm not too worried about that. I'll see what those ones read, and if they are a little bit too high, I'm going to go in here and turn this thing down. I like about 130, honestly. But yeah, that's it. I just set that thing back to cycle every 20 minutes because that was annoying at every 30 seconds. So he's going to blow off every 20 minutes. Have this here so I can shut that off. You want to work in the shop on the system somewhere, you can shut them off without draining the whole tank all the time. That's a full port 3/4 inch, so you get lots and lots of airflow through that. And I guess one thing I do have to do yet, I gotta soapy water these connections and down underneath there too, make sure I don't have a leak on anything. And I was actually gonna tie this back here somewhat to make sure it's not just hanging and dangling. I don't like that hanging and dangling there, so I'm gonna support that a little bit, but that'll do it. The job is done. Whoo-wee. This is about 3 days of screwing around right from start to finish on this thing. So anyway, I hope you get something out of this here, maybe get some ideas on how to do your own. Actually, I have this label here of Compressor. I got to get my label maker, and I'm going to be writing in and putting some things here that it's going to say control for this one. Maybe water valve or something here, and then fan up here. So I remember where to plug these things in if they ever get unplugged. And like I said, I'm going to close that one up. I got to get one of those little plugs there to go in there. But anyway, I hope maybe you got something out of here, get an idea for how you want to do your compressor, or you know, if you got different ideas on how I should have done this, let me know, and maybe I'll change things around. So let me know in the comments down below, and we'll get this thing here all soap tested up and get going. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. This is getting to be a long one again, so we're going to be heading off to the next project and doing something else. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.